Showtime!
Ladies and gentlemen, please make your way to your seats.
Showtime!
Please make your way to your seats. The show is about to begin.
Showtime!
Let the magic begin.
The 1 million kilometer range car.
Yes.
So
I could have sworn we had covered it before, but I guess not.
I don't
covered so much.
We've covered a few, and I think we mentioned thorium specifically, but not that, on 8 grams of thorium, we could have a 1 million kilometer range.
Yeah, this is never going to happen. But it could be a fuel for like space exploration, things like that. So the article discusses an experimental thorium reactor that could potentially power a car for over 1 million kilometers on just 8 grams of thorium fuel. So people that don't know thorium, it's a radioactive metal, but it can undergo nuclear fission reactions to produce heat, which can generate electricity. So in a thorium car, the reactor would trigger thorium conversion to uranium-233, which would heat water to drive a turbine-powered electric propulsion. So proponents claim that the energy density of thorium, this is the key part here, is over 1 million times greater than gasoline, which would enable such extreme range, right? So some things here to think about, though, to unpack. The feasibility of miniaturizing a thorium reactor small enough to fit in a car with adequate shielding, completely unproven. So, there's a lot of engineering barriers that remain for that. More research is going to need to scale and control thorium fission reactions for power generation in a portable setting. And this goes back to maybe this could be your backyard reactor, Craig, that you keep talking, that you like.
Backyard nukes.
There's obviously radiation safety issues around thorium fuel cells in consumer cars, but is there any more safety issues than the nuclear battery that we talked about? I don't know. The other thing too is I think that these range claims are dubious and exaggerated based on current science, but there's going to be more development needed. So it is potentially a game-changing fuel.
They're saying I got it wrong here. It claims it lasts for 1 million miles or 1.6 million kilometers. It says billion here, but that's wrong.
1 million miles, not.
Yeah, but that's okay. And again, this is that would be described realistically as having nuclear power unit small enough to fuel a proper vehicle that far. Yeah. So
one thing to note, though, that adds so much complexity and challenges is to start the fission reaction. Thorium reactors will need an initial neutron source like plutonium or deuterium, which is crazy. So it's crazy. It's cool, but crazy.
So craziness aside for a second, it needs a huge jump to get this thing started. If the kind of thing, can it just be running all the time?
Yeah, for sure. But the thing is where does that excess energy go? Is it just like a valve that just gets released?
Honestly, it depends. It depends on how much extra energy is happening. My point being is, can you kickstart an engine like this at the plant so it leaves the plant running until it stops?
I'm guessing so. That's a great point.
That becomes more of a doable thing when you're talking about starting and stopping something like this. And, if it's just creating energy, you can always plug it into your house and power stuff.
Yeah. There's your backyard nuke / car now. The second you buy your car is when they start the reaction at the dealership, and then that's it. You don't fuel it up ever.
Maybe. I see this not happening like you do. There's more chance of you having a paid energy thing in your backyard versus in your car, because you can charge your car, you can charge your stuff if the thing is stationary and secure rather than running around hitting each other in the streets.
Yeah. This is. I'm surprised that they took it. That this article talked about it as far as part of in your car, as opposed to I think with 1 million kilometer distance, right? There's much more practical applications, like a huge space exploration vehicle, right? That you've got more room to create those to put in the reactor to have the shielding and all that sort of stuff, right? Than in a small car.
Yeah, I mean, it's one thing to have a small, basically nuclear fusion engine running around, or having them in a stationary location where you can build some security around it. Another thing is to put it in a car filled with plastic and throw it on the highway at 100 miles an hour.
Imagine if you got in a crash.
That's what I'm saying.
We have these mini nuclear explosions. I laugh, but that's actually really serious and scary.
So why did they come up with this idea? Is it just to make a splash? Because the odds of, something like this happening.
I think it's just like it's like a lot of the other tech that we cover. They're cool concepts. They're cool theories, right? Why thorium? Why not another not nuclear, but radioactive isotope? I don't know. Maybe it's just they wanted to get some clicks and hits, but I think it's cool. It's interesting, but I still think hydrogen is the way to go, and that's gonna. I think we can even have hydrogen generators at our home instead of nuclear reactors. I honestly don't think we will ever see home nuclear reactors or even portable automobile reactors, and I could be wrong.
You could be. There's enough mistakes in this article for me to think that somebody's just speculating here completely.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah, I you know what? I'm gonna have to double check. I think I've got another couple articles from Eco News that I've been reading. I'm gonna have to double check these guys.
That's okay. We want to keep doing that, and as the sources, if we don't like them, just because it says 1 million kilometer range over here, and then it says 1 million miles, 1.6 kilometers. Then it says 1.6 billion kilometers. There's just enough that you're like, okay. It almost like I wrote it.
Almost like an AI wrote it.
Yeah. Well, AI would have probably figured out whether it's 1 million kilometers or 1.6 million kilometers or 1.
Not if it was written with GPT-1 or Claude 1
Yeah, they can't count. That's one of the things GPT's never been good at is math or counting.
Except 3.5. Claude 3.5. It is now great at math and coding and all that sort of stuff. So
awesome. So
and it's free in Canada, by the way. Anthropic is free in Canada. You can now use it. You can use the desktop app. Anyways.
Really? Awesome.
Yeah.
I'll be jumping on that. So what do you got going on, John?
So I've got this really cool event. It's for fractional C-suite and agency owners. It's a dinner hosted by Ryan Wong. Ryan's a phenomenal guy. I love working with Ryan. Love his events. This one's in Burlington, which is awesome, which is closer to me. In 12 days, 9 hours from now. So anyone that wants to go to Burlington or is in the Burlington area, wants to go, feel free, get a ticket. Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like a fun event, and I might have to swing by and sign up. I guess I recommend people signing up ahead of time. These things have limited space because they're
very limited space. Yeah.
So don't wait too long, or you'll be like, "Oh, you regret it."
Yeah, exactly.
And where do people go if they want to talk to you about funding and technology?
Yeah, reach out to me on LinkedIn. Happy to talk about funding. A lot of times I'm the bad guy when it comes to funding, especially if you're a brand new startup. There's a huge disconnect between that, but I'm happy to have those conversations with you.
And check out the Future Tech podcast and everything else we do at TorontoStarts.com. We help entrepreneurs with events, workshops, educational programs, and all sorts of stuff. So check out everything there. And thanks again, John. This has been great.
Wow, that was amazing.
See you later, alligator.